are back, and our next presenter then is, as I said, my partner in crime, Renee Canton. And so Renee's going to be talking to us about attracting members. So Renee.
Thank you.
Go for it.
And again, welcome. It's been a great morning already. So I hope that I can add to that. And don't be too mean. No, this is only my third time presenting. So I'm getting there, and I really love this subject. So I hope you can at least tell my passion for the subject for sure. With that, I'll share my screen just and see if I can find my presentation. There we go. So I just did a quick one, and I'm not going to be on this slideshow the whole time, but there's a few things, and what I wanted to do is kind of show you guys some of the links that I've got, and I'm going to post it in the chat, and we can also email it in case anybody did have to leave, and that's perfectly fine. So we're going to touch on attracting members, and their statement is that you can utilize, and I have used it often and put it in my email even since I graduated from RLI myself, is I can lead and promote my club's re-examination of its distinctive position in my community and the quality of members we attract. And it hits you hard, you know, how many, I'll start with that, how many of you have brought in, and let me stop share, brought in new members yourself? How many of you have proposed a new member? 1, 2, 3. You keep your hands up. That's quite a few. That's great. Fantastic. So we'll need all of your input for sure. So the goals today for our session are going to be start the slideshow properly. That'll be one. There we go. There we go. Our session goals are, we hope to define the attributes of good Rotarians. So start thinking on that. Explore how your club can attract good ones. And I added one more goal that's not in your actual packet for today. We're going to leave you with some amazing tools that you can use and share, and got them from RLI website. So they're all okay for you to share as you see fit. Let me go back. So with that, let's tell me a little bit, each of you, where in your, I'm going to go ahead and handwrite it, and then I'll put it back in here for the PowerPoint that I distribute to you guys. So where in your community can you find potential good Rotarians? Now, I only put 15 here, but if we have 30 attendees, we should have at least one per person. So where in your community can you find potential good Rotarians? So who would like to go first? Go ahead and unmute. And
the real estate industry.
I found that oftentimes some of the speakers that we've had in our meetings, you know, these are people that maybe I didn't know, but they often make good Rotarians.
Absolutely. Thank you, Deborah. And who said real estate?
I did. Catherine.
Catherine did. Thank you, Catherine. What else?
Other networking organizations.
What was that, Ken?
Just other networking organizations.
Including service clubs?
Yeah, absolutely. It can be service clubs or, you know, clubs more like, or say organizations like a Chamber of Commerce.
Sure.
Business leaders.
Business leaders? Who said that? Tanya?
No, I was mentioning, I was going to say business leaders as well. That's exactly what I was going to say.
I think faith-based organizations.
I'm sorry, who was, Rachel? Who was that?
Within your own family. It seems like in our club, we have a lot of spouses and their adult children, siblings, in-laws. We've got a lot of familial connections in our club.
Of course. Yeah, definitely.
How about faith-based organizations?
Faith-based? I think in the White Sands Club in Alamogordo, my first club, Pastor Forney is the president this year. So, of course, faith-based. And what else? We've only got a few. That's only about
youth-based organizations.
Youth-based.
Mm-hmm.
Your local school district.
Thank you, Jeff.
Sorry about that.
Local school district, was that you, Richard?
Yes. Uh-huh.
No neighbors.
Great. What else?
Large corporations.
Large corporations. Thank you, Erin.
Yeah, Lincoln actively seeks out large corporations for multi member sponsorships.
Definitely. What else?
I can't hear anyone.
Got to follow up on what Erin said too about corporations. A lot of them sometimes are if you're looking to attract some younger members to your group or emerging leaders, they have people who may not be in leadership positions in those organizations yet or are a little further down, but they want to give them the opportunity to be a part of a service club and gain some leadership opportunity too. So they will pay their dues to join a service organization. So it's another way to kind of also diversify your club a little if it's getting like a number of Rotary clubs getting, as was mentioned earlier, male dominated and long in the tooth. So.
Sure. That was other parts of large corporations. Was that what that was, Mark?
Yes.
Definitely. And Catherine, did you say you couldn't hear some of their responses?
Yes, she has logged out and will log back in.
There we go. Okay, good. Thank you, Kathy. Who else?
Governmental organizations.
What kind?
Governmental organizations.
There you go. You touched on one that's in my heart because I am a municipal clerk. Well, I was, 20 years. But yes, have you gone to your city halls? We've had some municipal officials and city managers and finance and police chiefs, and police chiefs give really good, they make good speakers because they'll give you stats and things like that. That's great. Governmental. Who else?
I've always, I don't necessarily know that we have one, Omaha West Road. I know we've talked about it, but I always think it would be interesting to have a member and probably helpful from either one of the television networks or radio stations or something that would be involved with helping us raise our profile and be better at PR.
Absolutely.
I agree with that. I think that the media, like the newspapers as well, the Carlsbad Club has been successful with that. And so they're able to get a lot of information about what their club is doing out in print.
Yeah, it's a great benefit. We have one member who owns the newspaper and the radio station. It's combined. And as far as sponsorships, she's always in there, offering sponsorships for us. And so that's real nice. And we also get whoever was the speaker every week in the paper. So good public relations, which our total would appreciate too.
Universities, other educational institutions?
Yes. Great. Well, we've got some good ones. I'm going to add those in and we can kind of take a look at a few of the other ideas that I have from our lists and slideshow. There we go. And we definitely filled them up. We got real estate, speakers, other networking organizations, business leaders, family members, faith-based organizations, youth-based, local school districts, large corporations, other corporations as well, governmental employees, television networks, media and newspaper, universities, and other educational, great. And so with that, you know, I promised some good tools for you to use. So these are the links that are on your page there in your booklet. And I added a couple others as well for, oh, don't do that to me, for membership assessment tools. This one may come. And I can new share it. Sure I can. Well, I'll go over them in a minute. Then we have the Club Runner Club classification list. That is a fantastic list to use. There we go. Now I got one. You share. Let's see. Can you see that screen?
We're seeing the Zoom screen, it looks like.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm not going to harp on that. I have all the links in there, and the one I'm sending out has good links, and I'll make sure, double check for the next speaker. But the classification list has a fantastic document that you can pull up, and I've got that one here, so I'm just going to share it all on my own.
Renee, do you want me to try to open up one of those links?
If you want to try, that'd be great. I'm going to go ahead and just do this from my... There we go. Can you see the classification list?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. No.
No. You cannot?
Yes.
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 Okay.
I see it.
This is the list, and one of the links is in there, and it's also one of the links that's in your packet there. And you can see how many different ones from what you named already. You started a fantastic list, but you can see what your club can actually take a look at, and who you might have if you have a very small club in a small area. You have a lot less to pick from, but at least this helps you to kind of think outside the box. And it's 2 full pages. Fantastic. Of those you might not even think of. Who does loans? Nobody said banking. What about banking? I know TRC had 2 or 3, and they used to be very huge on not having too many of a certain classification. And I remember it was quite a while back that we were told to think outside the box, just get members, it's okay. So that's always something you can look forward to use. With that, I'll keep going. And so we had the next our next topic will be share the makeup of your club. You know, does your club reflect your community by the ways of age and gender and race, religion, classification? You know, diversity is very big right now, and it's very important. So I'll open it up and I'll stop share. If you would share the makeup of your club and let us know, does your club reflect the diversity that we need? Who wants to start?
Hey, I'll start.
Thank you, Ken.
Yeah, no, I've been involved with you know, 2 Rotary clubs, and I know right now I'm real pleased. Our club does not reflect
Sorry.
need or would like to have, but we've also just recently started basically a diversity and inclusion committee, and so we're real excited about that. We've got somebody that's leading that. Who's actually she's our, I think, our lone African American member. So Karina's leading that committee. She's got a team working with her, and it'll be something that as we continue to work within the club, you know, we will we'll see those numbers, I'm sure, change and all.
Absolutely. I love how you call it diversity and inclusion. We can utilize the inclusion all the way around as well. Thank you, Ken. Who else?
That's something our club, I've been through 2 strategic planning sessions with the club since I joined 5 years ago, and both times improving the diversity of our club has been on the top 10 list, and this year we actually took the initiative to actively take a hard look at that and what that means. And so Rotary International will look at name, sex, birth date, but they don't identify race and ethnic backgrounds. And so our club sent out its first kind of census to try to get that and compare it to what the city of Lincoln has, which is not particularly diverse, but to try to see where we can do improvement, and specifically kind of like Ken said, seek out to include more people with different backgrounds. And so that's a big part of, I think, what we're trying to do.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you, Aaron. There are a couple people that have their hand raised. Can you see that, or should I just call them out?
If you could call them out, it'd be great. No, I don't see that.
Okay. Andy, go ahead.
Yeah, I think that well, I haven't actually run the numbers on our club and overlaid that against the demographics of the community. I think my gut instinct is that probably ethnically we're pretty closely reflective of the community, but I think demographically we're a little bit, we skew older, and I think maybe that speaks to how old our club is. And we have an old club that's been around a long time, 100 years or so, right, Yasser? So, how old are we exactly, Yasser?
We're over 100 years established, I believe, like in 1914.
Yes, I think I remember when you guys had your centennial, I think.
Yeah. So we've been around a long time, but I think also just over as things go, we ended up with a little bit of an older skewing group, and obviously we're going to need to take efforts to continue to grow the younger demographics and try to attract more of that age sector and have a more balance. But I think ethnically I feel we're pretty closely aligned with our community.
That's great. And so those of you who already spoke, and then I do see Megan next. Did you have a plan for that, or did you just get lucky so far? Well, I mean, Ken had a plan. They have a committee. Does anybody else have a committee that they are working from for inclusion and diversity, classification type things, new members? Okay. So Megan was the next one. Was there anyone else, Jeff, with their hand raised?
Nope.
All right, Megan.
Yeah, ours definitely doesn't reflect our community based on age, gender, or race, but we do, we're close on gender because Hobbs does have more males than females. It's just that's how our workforce is built out based on oil and gas. But we do go like towards those who are more service based, and that's how it's worked out. Like that, we've never had a plan to go for. The one plan we've always actually been kind of like putting our airhead at has been attracting younger people and getting them to commit to it and stuff, and then get them involved. And so that's been a challenge. But our committee on that is our membership committee, and so they take that on in addition to just being membership in general.
That's great. Just curious, does anybody have? We did in Tier C the year I was president there. The year after, as immediate past president, I took membership, which was actually really neat, and it was fun because I could focus on something else, and I just had a full year of the whole realm of learning so much, so that was kind of neat. Does anybody else have past officers as membership chairs? Deborah does. I don't see anybody on this side. So not too many. If you have a hard time, oh, Catherine does. If you have a hard time finding someone, there you go. There's a recommendation. Get your past officers and people who have already served in that position. Who else?
Renee?
Yes, Dean.
Yeah, I just did the figures, and we have almost exactly a third of our members female and 2/3 male. And it's very much, you know, retirees have kind of been the source for most of our members, but we're starting to get a few newer members. But one of my concerns, though, is economic diversity, because, you know, almost everybody in our club can afford, you know, to pay dues, and they can afford to go to functions and things, you know. And it eliminates a lot of people that don't have resources, you know, and I worry about how we can get those good community members, especially in a place like Taos where we have, you know, a lot of waiters and waitresses who have graduate degrees. You know, how can we get those good members into our club?
You know, Dean, and just to piggyback off of that, when I told one of my colleagues that I was joining Rotary this year, her response to me, and I quote, was, "Oh, I didn't realize you were so hoity-toity." I thought, oh, well, let me just, you know, dispel that myth. So.
Well, you know,
hey, may I jump in?
Of course, Dan, Mr. Pat.
Dan, that is a perfect kind of case for to consider the Rotary Community Court.
Yeah.
Where you get others involved. They can't be paid dues. They can't be, you know, a part of the Rotary Club, but they can certainly engage in the activities and have the benefits.
It's a good idea.
Absolutely. You know, how many of your clubs have a handful of people that do all the work when you have service projects and volunteers? You need your volunteers and stuff. And, you know, when you have, yeah, Catherine, I see quite a few hands going up. When you have a good balance of the money club and the money people and the service people, then those who can't necessarily afford the dues, if they're not outrageous, we've had members that have donated for their dues so that they wouldn't have to go out and do the work. We pull in the people who were like, no, I'm sorry, I can't afford it. And it's like, well, Rotary's more than that.
Well, and I think more to the point, I have a lot of confidence that every nickel that I invest in Rotary is like everything that we've talked about already before. It's been tried and true. It's got a deep history. We are invested in the community. We are invested internationally. We are solving problems. So, you know, I mean, I don't feel as though it's a bad investment financially.
Absolutely. Anybody else? Oh, wait, I just saw that hand go up. Yes, sir.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I really like the idea of the inclusion and diversity committee, because if it's not for such a committee, we just naturally tend to bring in members that look like us, hang out like same places that we do. And it's not that we're doing an effort to exclude somebody specifically. It's just that it might be our specific circle. And this happens a lot in the corporate world. So having that committee just forces us to think outside the box and get out of our comfort zone. And just looking at overall the participation here, this doesn't look like a representation of the communities that we live in. So right off the bat, you could see we definitely have an issue here.
Absolutely. Well, let's move on. Thank you, everybody. That was such great input, and
Renee,
that's what it's.
Sandra
Yes.
had something to say.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I think the economic issue is huge. It certainly is in Albuquerque, because our club is not representative of the community by any stretch of the imagination. But when we started the satellite club, what we did was, number one, they pay dues, but they don't have to buy expensive meals. They do potluck every other week. the demographic is a whole lot younger. It's a lot of young working folks, but it also is much more diverse because the economic factor is not in play as much. And I think it was just a huge boon. And those members are fabulous workers and idea people. They really, really lend so much to the rest of us.
Absolutely. You know, if you're a lunch club or knife and fork club, I believe they call them. I see you, yes. Fernando. You know, sometimes you can't catch those teachers that can't leave.
No.
So yeah, I was instrumental in White Sands. We started a breakfast club at the golf course because you know, meals were optional. If you want a meal, you buy your own. So, but we had some great discussions then, and all the surrounding clubs would come. Kathy's club would come then. So, Fernando, you had some comments.
Yeah, you know, I was listening, and it's very interesting, and I guess I don't know if I feel guilty but you know, at the end of the day, if it's not a very diverse club, but it does a good job in the community, and it helps, and it's, you know, adds to the community. I believe, yeah, it's important now at this time of day, but I think the most important is not to be diversified, but to be a well-functioning club. And I guess, again, the guild side is our club by definition is maybe a little excluding because it's the only club that the meetings are in Spanish. Of course, you know, every time we have people invited, we try to translate and include them in the meeting, and the meeting, you know, we try to be in English. But we feel very satisfied and, you know, kind of proud of our club achievements, and it's not something that we feel, well, you know, we are not very inclusive and we don't represent 100% of the community, just one part. But at the end of the day, I don't think that's the main objective of the club. I mean, it's good if you can achieve it, and it's fine. But you know, that's my, you know, personal point of view. We didn't join Rotary to be very politically correct in all the things we do. We you know, we kind of want to contribute, and that's kind of you know, my way of thinking. That's not the objective of this leadership institute, but that's the way I see it. And just an opinion and I guess a question for you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Fernando. Did I miss anybody else who wanted to who had some comments to share? I don't see. Do we have any hands up in there? No. But we did have. Thank you for those of you who were posting. I got 9 more new messages. Posted some really good ideas. And as far as Fernando's comments, you know, it's not a requirement. It's just kind of helping you guys think outside the box to take back to your clubs to attract new members. Because I don't know how many times I've heard that the membership is down. And that hurts if we're not growing up or building up Rotarians. I often thought elected officials, since I ran elections for so many years, it'd be so fantastic if we could make it a requirement for them to be a Rotarian. But yeah, they weren't having none of it. I tried. All right, so I'll read a couple of these in the chat. We have church, other service organizations, co-workers. We have civic leaders, other networking groups like Centersphere, business owners associations, BNI, etc. Great idea family, neighbors, PTA, your gym, places you shop, do business, sororities and fraternities, good for Rotaracts, fundraising events. There's people who have interest in helping out, invite them. And who was it that said that they went to a fundraiser and that's how they ended up becoming a member? That was great. Nonprofit leaders, strategic recruitment. Julie says, Kathy Collingsworth, past president of Giving Spirits Evening Rotary, is absolutely fantastic at getting media coverage at their service projects. That's important. Sorry for those of you who didn't see anything listed. I'll try to watch that a little better. And yes, I will be sending out our notes. I believe Jeff too. So anyway, age is definitely something that everybody's looking at. And Erin says that they dropped average age by 1 year, which isn't much, but it's a start. You know, even Jeff agreed. So Erin, you're full of them. It's fantastic. I love it. When we have club fossils, their words, not mine. It takes a few people to make that shift downwards. Of course it does. So anyway, we hope that you have some ideas to take back to your clubs. Great, thank you. And Megan, good way to find out demographics of your community is your census data. Yes, it is. You can go to census.gov. It'll tell your ethnicity, your age, you know, it's got all of that in there. And that's a great idea. Thank you for that, Megan. And then we have kudos to Fernando. Well said. And thank you. And thank you. And Jeff says, RI is promoting new types of clubs, such as the ones built around an area of focus that may attract different people to Rotary. You know, we talked about earlier going virtual, like Bruce said, and a lot of people really held back and they were hesitant in the beginning. So I guess this is one step in the direction we didn't think we wanted to go, but it's not so bad.
Brendan, may I mention something?
Of course, Arturo, go ahead.
I just wanted to share something that, you know, we have been kind of like analyzing the idea for the younger Rotarians, like right out of Rotaract, is to do a little bit of like kind of like a scholarship for the fees, you know, so that when they just graduated from college, so that they don't have that gap from Rotaract to Rotarian. So it's how do we can support them to have that transition easier, and we can capture them, you know, as soon as they graduate from college. So it's just food for thought for an idea, you know, that we in our club are still thinking through, but that could help
Absolutely.
Younger generation.
Thank you. Absolutely. That's great. And if I missed anybody in there, we did have active duty reserve. Scroll through the chat because there was some great ideas in there. So I'm going to get moving on here. So with that, the next share, here we go. All right. So what a great discussion that was. Our next one is how can your club attract any of that missing demographic or classification? So found a couple of really cute, everything we do opens another opportunity for someone somewhere. I thought that was a great quote. So it'll be in your presentation when I send it. And creating your membership development plan is a document that I'm hoping I can pull up. And if I can't, I will pull it up otherwise. It's a document that shows a whole plan. We've got membership plans in here. And here we go. I'll just hit a couple because I pulled them up already. There we go. All right, so this one, can you see the insert?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
good. This is the insert one in your packets. The good to know for attracting members has some great ideas in there. Should be vibrant and known in the community, those people that you're looking for. Membership is by proposal of a member and invitation by the club. And we recently have had to look at our bylaws because we couldn't figure out who went in and made some big changes, but it didn't have anything in line to do with Rotary International. So there's something to keep in mind. Clubs select their own members, but they're subject to laws of Rotary policies on membership and such. So here's some good tools for you to look at. Clubs can decide their own meeting times, where they're going to meet, what they're going to do, what's best for your club to keep your members. So, and then the second attachment was leading your club for the membership committee. And so they have fantastic responsibilities in there. See if I can make it just a little bigger for you. There we go. And responsibilities as far as all committees, attending that district training, Rotary International. And I know for those of you who went to part one, we're shown some of the trainings available on the RI website. Great spot to go. And I've got a couple links to some of those on the page that I'm going to send to each of you. And you can also download that full brochure. And the third attachment in your packet is proposing new members. And I don't know if your club may use this, and they may have created their own, and that's fantastic. But again, you don't always have to create your own. RI has fantastic documents and resources that you can use. As far as sharing what Rotary means to you, just invite them to a club. That's number one. If you're not invited, then you might not end up being a member. And then we'll move on to the next one. So stop share. So with that, I have about, what do I have, 5 minutes left? Fantastic. One more attachment I just want to show you is my whole sheet on documents that you can use to, I apologize, sorry about that, you guys. I had it pulled up and I don't know where it is. Okay, well, anybody have any other questions or ideas as far as proposing a member?
I have that document.
Okay, good.
Do you want me to share it?
That would be fantastic, yes. With the full list.
Is it this one?
Yes. So I'll send you this, and it shows you, there we go. It shows you a lot of great links, and I checked them, and I will double check them again. If it doesn't work automatically, you can copy and paste it to your browser. If you need help with that, let me know. But we've got, as you can see, the 3 inserts we just went through. Membership assessment tools is very important. And I know that when Jeff talks on your strategic plans, is that part 3?
Yeah.
On part 3, assessing your club is very important. And so these documents I'm going to share with you. If you guys have any other documents that you would like to share, send them to Kathy or I, and we're happy to distribute, or you can reply to all. With that, I might be done just a little bit early. Does anybody have any other fantastic input to add in? Anything else your clubs do that other attendees can benefit from? How about plans? I know years ago the district did a 5 for 5, our district, a 5 for 5, get 5 people together and everybody pick one person and you all invite them and hopefully you'll get one member out of it. How about other ideas that you guys use for membership fun? Yes, sir.
Well, we're trying to promote the corporate membership when we approach a company and say, okay, if we have an allocation for 3 corporate members from your organization, and instead of being X amount, we're extending to you for a reduced amount. So that's a way to try to tap in the corporate memberships.
Ooh, reduced amount. That's smart. Good. Who else? Was that your hand up, Catherine?
My hand's up. I don't know.
Deborah, yes. Go ahead.
Yeah. I think that also when we talk about bringing in members, we also need to look at retaining members. And one of the ways that I've found has been helpful is have a really good solid orientation. teach them how to download the Club Runner app and get their ID number and get them onto Rotary.org. You just really help them with those essential things so that they won't be quite so frustrated, and take them to breakfast or lunch and just start explaining the basics of Rotary. And so they feel more included and can integrate faster.
Absolutely. And how many of you have seasoned Rotarians that help mentor new Rotarians? Yeah, Mark, and there's a couple raising your hand. Yeah, and Ken. Yeah, it's a good way to go. Who else? Anybody else? Some of those, and there are other links for you guys to check out, and I'll be here for another hour or so, and I will also be sending out your evaluation form for today. I'll link it in here, and we'll also email it. So if there's nothing else that you guys want to share, then I will say thank you very much for allowing me to talk with you today. All right, I'll turn it over to Kathy.
All right. Hey, thanks so much, Renee. And can you guys see me? I think I lost myself then, but it won't be the first time I'm lost.
I can see you.
We can see you.
Can you see me? Okay, great. Okay, thank you. So thanks so much, Renee, and great sharing and great suggestions in the chat. Jeff, if I understand correctly, then when you post the copy of the Zoom video, the chat will also be included in that, or is that separate? No chat? Okay.
So people watching the video will not see chat or things like that. They just see the screen, and they see when it's shared, they'll see whatever is being shared.
Okay, great. Thank you.
They also will not see the poll questions, unfortunately. So when I put up Bruce's question, if I recall, when you watch the video, you don't see that.
Okay.
I worked really hard on that last slide there. Can I share it real quick? I was excited about it, and I thought, I didn't make it that far. Here you go, guys. Just for the effect. There you go. Thank you very much.
That's so sweet.
Thank you, Renee.
Okay. You can save chat to the computer. It's just that when you're watching it on like YouTube, when I send out the link, you won't see the chat window.
No, it comes up separate.
All right. Thanks so much then, Jeff. Yeah, Arturo, we're a couple of minutes early. We can take either a real quick break, or we can jump on in with club communication.
Ready when y'all are. It's up to the group. Should we continue?
Yes. Let's go ahead and do that, okay? And
yes.
Then if
Perfect.
you're finished early, then we can have a little bit of an extra long break.
Awesome.
2 minutes. Okay. Thanks, Arturo. Thanks
Thank you,
very much, Renee.
Thank you, Renee. Well, good morning, everybody. As I said, my name is Arturo Barrio, and I serve as the Public Image Chair. Before I start with what we're going to be talking today, I want to see if there are any good news that you all would like to share. Any good news? Let's see. And you can hear my baby in the background. I apologize, but you're going to be hearing a lot of Isabella throughout the presentation. Any good news? Anybody raise their hand? Jeff, can you help me with the raise hands? Kathy, please go ahead.
Hey, you know what? I try to look for something positive, and I imagine probably each of you guys do as well. Look for something positive every day. Positive people just kind of, I think we kind of magnetize and we draw each other to ourselves. But the sun is shining today, and I am absolutely thrilled with having this group going today, and our excellent facilitators. So thanks, Arturo.
Thank you, Kathy. Anybody else would like to share some good news? Please, Andy, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to announce that under Yasser's leadership and a great Winefest committee, this year we had to really respond to the fact that we were not able, due to COVID, to have our typical El Paso Winefest, which has become very popular and been I think our largest single fundraiser for the year that supports a lot of our local efforts. We've developed something called Curbside as an alternative to our, now in addition, but originally thought of as an alternative to our big wine fest, whereby we feature a different restaurant that has historically supported us at the wine fest. And we're having an event at that location where people come by and pick up their meal curbside. And we've had a massive amount of support, not only from our own members, but of the Rotary clubs. And now the restaurants are promoting it, and we're bringing in people to buy dinners who are from their customer database. So it's really made a huge difference, and it's going to help us make up some of the ground that we're losing on revenue if we don't, from the last year that we didn't have our event, and whether or not, who knows whether we'll have it this year or not, but we hope we do. But Curbside's been a huge event, and I'm pretty thankful for that. That's great news.
Yes, amazing news. Thank you, Andy, for sharing, and thank you, Jesse, for your leadership. Anybody else that would like to mention any good news? Yes, Erin.
Yeah, so as a board member, I oversee the fundraising committee, and obviously fundraising is looking very different this year. And our big event is next weekend. And as of last week, we were still on track to have the same amount of corporate sponsors that we've had in past years with present events. And as anybody in fundraising knows, corporate sponsors is key. So that was really big. And it looks like Ryan posted RLI Shiny Give event. So you guys can check it out if you're interested.
Perfect. Congratulations, Erin. Great job. We have great news to share, all the time. And I think now we need it the most. I want to share amazing news because there's people that are here today that are involved in this great news. We were able to fundraise close to $6,000 last week to remodel one of the children's centers that our club supports in Juarez. So I want to thank Jasser, all the El Paso clubs that have been supporting. So we're excited, and that's what Rotary is. It's about being excited about what we're doing. So transitioning what Renee was talking about, and I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. So if anybody can tell me if you can see the screen. Can you see it?
Yep.
Thumbs up?
Almost.
Yep.
There we go.
There we go.
Perfect. Awesome. So I'm going to be using PowerPoint. I'm going to try to make it fun so that way we don't, and I'm going to adhere to what Jeff was mentioning. I'm going to be a little bit off, but I know we have experts on communication, and I know Andy, and we have great Rotarians that are experts. So what are the goals for today for our session? So first, we're going to be talking about how to understand the elements of effective communication. Also, apply effective communications to Rotary leadership. We're talking about the different opportunities and who is our club target audience. Jeff, if you can help me with the hands, because I'm not going to be able to see it with the. We have two audiences, mainly internal and external. We have been talking a little bit about internal and how do we communicate with our board, but we also have external, and it's how we can communicate inside and outside of our club. So publicity, as you may know, is how we communicate to the outside world, how we share about our programs, how we share about our initiatives. Public relations is how us as a club keep those bonds. Like Erin was mentioning right now with our sponsors, how do we keep them informed? How do we let them know what we're doing so that way we can continue? And the public image is how the outside sees us. What opportunities exist for a leader of any member of a Rotary Club to communicate with others? There's plenty. And if whoever wants to speak, please come off mute, mention. We have communication with our community chairs and members. We're always meeting, we always have our directive board. We meet with them, we talk to them about ideas. Our executive committee, for approval of projects. We're our board members. Renee was talking about how we get, them involved. We talked about different committees. We heard about a diversity and inclusion committee. I think that's a great idea. Prospective members, our community. I don't know about you, but we're always talking about what we're doing. Why? Because we want to get people engaged. We want to get people involved. We want for them to fall in love with Rotary. Why? Because we're in love with Rotary. We're in love with what we do. We love to serving our community. And like Erin was mentioning earlier, right now is very challenging. People are at home. They don't know how to help. Sometimes people don't know how to help and they want to help. What are some of the challenges that we're seeing? These are some general challenges, but some things that we have seen lately, when the COVID happened, we have members that don't have an email, members that don't know how to use Zoom, that haven't been participating because they're scared of Zoom. They don't know how to use it. I know there's for our district, the 5520, we created an IT geek squad that can support our members to get into Zoom, to download the apps and get all that information so that they can be included. Lack of participation. What happens? How do we bring our members in? You know, we have those members that sometimes just go to the parties or sometimes just go to, how do we make sure that they have the full experience of Rotary? You know, who has sent an email and nobody replies? You know, and you think that you just send it and, you know, you talk about, oh yeah, I got that email, but you didn't get anything back. Text, emails. How do we have an effective communication when we have those challenges? People that are not familiar with technology. Something that our governor has mentioned, you know, many times is when we try to do the virtual versus in person. It's so hard. You know, when you have somebody in Zoom and then you have people in the room and they don't have the equipment. So those are some of the challenges that we've seen, you know, for effective communication. There's many tools, you know, that we have to use. And like I said, please feel free to jump in, you know, to communicate inside and out. You know, we have great clubs that do newspaper, that have articles, that work on those type of communication opportunities. Internet, you know, email, websites, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, social media. You know, we have younger members that are, you know, I think I stated Facebook because I feel comfortable, but you know, the new social media platforms, I'm not familiar with. So all the new members that are coming in that know how to use them, you have a great asset for Rotary and for our clubs. So help us share, you know, the different, you know, your knowledge and those type of platforms. We have television, radio, billboards, brochures, fundraisers. And, you know, these are some ways to communicate, and also the articles. But this is something that really caught my attention. You know, I'm not a specialist on communications, but I've been working in the district since June. You know, in 2003, Facebook didn't exist. In 2018, there's about 2.2 billion users. 3.8 billion people worldwide are using social media. You know, we need to be where they are. If we're gonna catch the new generations, we gotta be out there. This is a study that was made that says 72% of US consumers say that they're spending more time on social media per day since the outbreak of coronavirus. And you can see the generations: millennials, 74%, baby boomers, 68%, Generation X, 68%. And this is the interesting part. They were asked, you know, how likely are you going to be involved in social media after COVID? 60% likely to continue. And you can see baby boomers increase, millennials went down a little bit, but they're engaged. And I think that's the way to communicate. I have a question. Is there something about your club that your community recognizes? So anybody can raise your hand. Let me see, I'm gonna stop sharing so I can see the, oops. There we go. Yes.
This
Renee?
is Kathy.
Yes, Kathy?
So the White Sands Club here in Alamogordo planted trees in our medians, which has made the community just so much more attractive. And at various places then in the major streets where they planted, they put up a sign then that said the trees were planted by Rotary. And so that's just a really cool way to let the community know that Rotary is alive and well in Alamogordo.
Thank you, Kathy. Anybody else? Andy?
Mark raised his hand.
Okay, go ahead, Mark. Thanks, thanks, Jeff.
We have two events that probably get the most public image, if you will, for our club. We have a police and firefighters award that we give out every year, and it draws pretty well. We actually had that in person. I can't remember what month that was, but we did it at Warner Park, which is the stadium for our AAA baseball team, and we were able to do that outdoors. And then the second event that is we've done for, I think it's like 40 years, is we recognize the top students from each school district in our metro area and award them at a luncheon, and again that gets pretty good coverage. So Those are the two things I think of that our club does that usually end up on the television.
Excellent. Thank you, Mark, for sharing those events. I think it's great ideas for the rest of the clubs that are here about possible events. So thank you for sharing that. Andy?
Arturo, we have a few more hand raised. Do we have time?
Okay. Yeah, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Gordon, go ahead.
Yes. Other nonprofits have come to our club to tell us about their needs and for funding support. This happens quite frequently, and often we're able to help them out.
Excellent. Thank you, Gordon. So supporting other organizations.
Carolyn?
So the Santa Fe Club, we also have a lot of nonprofits that we donate to, but our largest fundraising event is Pancakes on the Plaza. And we have generally 15 to 20,000 people internationally come and flip pancakes, and all of that money goes to northern New Mexico children and families.
Thank you, Carolyn. Great project. And I have a question, for those that were able to share, if there's a different, is it different from the brand of Rotary, what people, recognize about your club? Or do they literally connect that, we're all a big family of Rotary International? Or they know, oh, this is the Albuquerque Club, or this is the El Paso Club. What do you think? Do you think they understand that, or not really?
Not really.
Not really.
I think so.
You think so, Renee?
Yeah, I do. I think in Truth Consequences or TRC, we have every event that we've done, we built a t-ball field at the sports complex, and the signs are up, and every parent who takes their kids to play in that t-ball field that they wanted for years and years, they know Rotary and TRC. And who was that, Catherine or somebody said that, hoity-toity, that they know the people and that they're not so hoity-toity. And that attracts, we had a new brewery come into town, and one of the owners, when they were still building the place, walked through the National Night Out that we always had a booth at, and was like, I've always heard about Rotary. Tell me about it. And it was like, woo, that's how you grab them. It's just being out in the community. They've done also events like built up the plaza at the senior center because they didn't have enough spaces for the seniors to sit and eat. Of course, not being utilized right now, but maybe eventually. So, just put your name, the club's name on things in the community. Like Kathy said, I was at the White Sands Club when they started that Trees in the Median. Whatever your club does, you can build your own name.
Thank you, Renee. That's a great point. So Rotary is a brand, and I heard this the other day, that a brand is a promise. It's more than a logo. It's much bigger than our wheel. And, our brand reflects our identity. So you probably are familiar with this, but in 2011, Rotary International initiated a global public image campaign centered on 3 areas, which are key for all Rotary International, which is membership, public image, and foundation. They sought to change the image of Rotary. This is something that has happened since 2011, and we still have some clubs that haven't updated their logos yet. And that's where we need, everybody's support. The restructuring of the logo, the mark of excellence. So using the Rotary marks, this is important. They own Rotary International owns the trademarks. When you reproduce the Rotary marks, there's some guidelines that you can use, and we're going to be covering a little bit about that. And you can download your logo for your club and the brand center. And that's very important because we need to be updated. So I'm just going to ask, do you think if all these represent the same organization? Anybody would like to come up here? And we all love to have our logo for a club with different things. So that's exactly where Rotary wants to come to the new brand. And basically, this is our logo now. It has the wheel, it has Rotary, so that way people understand that we are a big family, Just going to throw in the question, what percentage of the community do you think knows about Rotary? So Jeff, if you can see any hands come up, anybody would like to give it a shot?
50% was mentioned in the chat.
50%.
Andy has his hand raised, but I think it was from the
previous question. Okay, 50% think, you know, might know Rotary. Anybody else?
It surprises me how few people actually know. So we've done, in some of our community projects, we've asked people, like we had a wine fest for several years, and we would ask folks, well, have you ever heard of Rotary? And it always surprised me how many people had not heard of Rotary, or they thought, you know, we were some kind of organization that was not correct. So 60%. I'm surprised the number is that high.
Yeah, 60% of the survey said that they didn't know about a local Rotary club. You know, and that's shocking. In El Paso, we have close to 10 clubs. You know, different cities, Albuquerque, you know, we have 68 clubs in the district.
Or if they have heard about Rotary, they don't really understand what we do. Exactly.
That's correct. Fernando, that's correct. And how can our clubs do better in public relations? Well, you know, we got to be visible. We got to promote the club activities. In this past few months that I've been working as public image chair, I always tell our friends in the clubs is like, take a picture of the meeting. I know it's going to be a Zoom picture, but people will know that we're active, that we're out there, that we're doing things. You know, right now with the COVID, we're asking our clubs, you know, whenever you have an event, please put your face masks. We want to be responsible. We want to make sure that we're taking care of our community. You know, there's a lot of ways that we can be, you know, support our clubs with public relations, you know, the website, social networking, you know, individuals keeping Rotary in the forefront, talk to friends. You know, we were talking about Renee, you know, who we can recruit as new members, talk about how Rotary is helping the community. You know, my wife shared with me that when she first talked to me, she thought I was a little bit boring. I know, heartbreaking. But then I started telling her what I was doing at the Rotary Club. And she told me, you know, that's what I really loved about you. You're passionate about helping the community. Now we're married, we have a beautiful daughter, but true story, and she can attest. But, you know, you never know who's going to be part of Rotary, who's going to be in love with what we're doing. So I began today's meeting, you know, hearing amazing stories, you know, Jasser's story about he being in RLI and now being the president of the club that sponsored him. It's incredible how many of those stories that we have that we can share to get people excited about Rotary. So telling Rotary stories, you know, after hearing stories about your club's good works, members of your community, we're doing a series on our Facebook that is called the Rotarian Highlight of the Week. We want to highlight our Rotarians so people know that, you know, we're people, you know, I was curious to know what, you know, the Tootie Woody, I've never heard that before. That one for me was new. I was like, I need to look into that because I don't know what that is, but it just sounded funny. But, you know, we have people that are truly in love with the community, that are doing great things. And, you know, going into the brand center, this is an important aspect that we need to cover today. So is anybody familiar with the brand center?
No.
No? Okay. So the brand center is open to all of us. And I'm going to show you how to get into it. So you go to My Rotary, if you have an account, you sign in. And when you go to the member center on the far right, you're going to see the brand center. You just click on that. And it's going to take you to this portal. Right here, you're going to have social media examples, booklets regarding publicity, commercials, videos, anything you might need. It also gives you, for example, the identity at a glance. You know, if you're going to get your shirts made, you just print this out, take it to the print shop, and they're going to do your shirts. And they're going to have the colors of Rotary, everything you need for your club marks. Like I said, here you can also go into the brand center and you can produce the logo of your club. So you can update it and have the actual update of the club. Jeff, can you let me know if there's something coming up? Is there a hand raise or is it a chat? Or we're good?
Nope.
We're good? Okay. And right now, Fernando was sharing something very important, you know, talking about Rotary, you know, when people know about Rotary, they're not familiar with what we do. So the People of Action campaign began because of this. 35% of the public isn't familiar with any Rotary program. And this is why Rotary has created the new global campaign called People of Action. There's different, give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Bonita, Rocío, ¿podrías aspirar cuando termine? Gracias. Can you hear me now? The vacuum started going in the background. Sorry for that. So this is why Rotary has created the People of Action campaign. And you can create your own ads with pictures from your club. And there's an app on Facebook that is called the People of Action photo editor. So you can see, you know, this is from, I think, our 2 by district conference or district conference about 2 years ago. You know, it's a great picture. But what do you think when you add a legend that says, "Together we're fighting hunger"? I don't know if you saw today's picture, but today's picture that we posted, it says, "Together we connect." We're connecting 2 countries. We're connecting 5 states. We're connecting 4 districts. And I don't know how many clubs. And, you know, and it's amazing. Some strategies to promote, you know, the club. You know, spreading the word about Rotary's impact. You know, there's very simple ways to do that. We got to raise awareness of his activities and Rotary's work, attract and engage members, increase contributions to the Rotary Foundation, and foster partnerships. You know, about 2 weeks ago, I was invited to a meeting in a club in Guatemala. You know, this club in Guatemala has been working with one of our clubs of District 5520, and they were recognizing one of our Rotarians who's with us today. And, you know, they recognized, and I'm going to put her on the spot. They recognize our great friend, Deborah Simon, you know, because she's been working in Guatemala for so many years. And all the Guatemalan clubs were there to celebrate her work. You know, when you think about the impact and the reach, you know, Deborah lived in Guatemala before, but she's now in Santa Fe? Albuquerque. I'm going blank. Santa Fe. She's in Santa Fe. And she continues to impact in Guatemala. And I know your clubs are doing great things around the world. And, you know, this is kind of one of those things that people ask, well, if you do things, what do you want to tell about it? No, we don't want to tell about it just to talk about what we're doing, but we got to share the story to create awareness and to motivate people, to encourage people to be part of this. So Deborah, congratulations. I thought that was an amazing example of, you know, how we can raise awareness. You know, we have a lot of clubs. So do you want to mention anything, Deborah?
Oh, well, first of all, there were 13 different clubs just in our district.
Deborah, I think you're on mute. Yeah. Can you hear us?
Sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes.
You can? Okay. There were 13 clubs in our district that participated with that project, as well as 5 different districts. But what's really nice is that now we're able to invite them to our meetings. So on Thursday, people from that club will be speaking at our meeting by Zoom, which is really neat how we can connect like that.
And now more than ever, you know, we thought about this and is teaching us how we can connect with people all over the world. There's a club in El Paso that is bringing speakers from, thank you, Deborah, by the way, I didn't mean to put you on the spot, but I honestly was super excited about the meeting and, you know, all the work that you have done. But that's the way, you know, that's the way we find out and we get motivated and we say, oh, you know, if this club can do it, we can do it. You know, and that's how we share the best practices.
Arturo?
So yes.
Gordon has his hand raised.
Yes, Gordon, right ahead.
Arturo,
sorry. Yes.
Is there a place we could go on My Rotary where we could get videos and stories that we could put on our Facebook pages?
Definitely. And Jeff, can you help me bring up the brand center? Or
it's under the Learning Center.
Yeah. So let me go ahead and stop sharing and let me go into that 1 second.
Yeah.
So, but I got it. Let me go ahead and share this. Sorry. And I'm going to see if you can follow up what I'm going to be doing. So can you see there, Jeff? Let me see.
Do you want me to bring up Rotary.org?
There we go. Can you see it?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So I was talking about a couple of things. So let me know if it continues, because sometimes we miss the, so if you go to the member center right here on the far right, I'm going to click on it. Hope it opens. Let me see. You go here into the brand center.
And while you're looking at it,
so Rotary is down for maintenance. So let me go ahead and they also have to do maintenance. So let me go ahead and give me 1 second. So I'm gonna go a little bit slower. Let me see if I can pull out there we go, my screen. There we go.
Not seeing it yet. Oh, here we go.
There we go. Perfect. So give me 1 second. There we go. So
I think I had a good video to show a new member too. That's in the links that I'll be sending out as well.
So basically, oh, thank you, Renee. So basically, if you go to my Rotary, to the corner right, it says Member Center. You just sign in with your user. It's pretty easy to get a user if you don't have it yet. And then on the almost bottom left, it says Brand Center. Once you click to the Brand Center, it's going to take you to this site. And here at the bottom, where it says the People of Action, right here in the center, it says Voice and Visual Identity Guidelines. And also you're going to have all the social media, image matter materials. You can get videos downloaded in different formats for your social media needs. You can get, for Facebook or for, and I have my expert here online. So Andy, he has been very helpful in sharing his knowledge because he's an expert on this. I had no idea that there's different formats for Instagram and Facebook. And so Andy, do you want to comment a little bit on that?
Well, just the amazing level of resource that the Brand Center represents. When I was first exposed to it, I was actually blown away that all of this existed and that they've gone so far with developing materials to make it super easy for any size club to put forth not only a consistent brand image with Rotary, but also, I mean, it just makes the job so quick and easy to be able to take some of the templated materials and then customize them for your need. I would suggest to anybody in all size clubs, definitely visit and click on everything in the Brand Center because there's so much there. It's like I said, it's an amazing resource.
Thank you, Andy. And what Renee was talking about in the Learning Center, if you're the PR person and they say, well, you're the PR chairman, like Kathy was mentioning, you missed the meeting, now you oversee PR. There's a lot of trainings. So there's a lot of trainings and resources in the Learning Center. When you go into it, you just click on the position and it has specific videos for the PR. It gives you tutorials. So like Andy mentioned, for the Brand Center, the Learning Center is also a great tool, and you get certificates for all the trainings that you do. I don't know, Gordon, if that answered the question.
Well, I can add to that if you don't mind, Arturo.
No, Gordon.
I was always an advocate for, once they went with the new brand and they were pushing it, telling everybody who had the two-tone blue and gold rotary wheels that, that's not proper anymore, so you can find a couple people that can help with that. And, sometimes it's easy, like even for your PowerPoints, to just Google something if you're putting something quick, but you've got to be careful because, you want only that solid azure color or the gold color. And, they have, like they said, they have everything ready for you. Your club can have all of the branding labels with your club name on it that you need to use.
And we're here to help you. We're here to help you. We'll be glad to help you on the PowerPoints. We need, any help you need, we're here to support you. And, that's our goal. And like I said, there's a lot of resources among us that can help. So thank you, Renee. And, how can you be part of the the strategy. I think this is also very important. Inform the public. We talk about this. Having strong public relations ensures that the community around us knows what Rotary is a credible organization. When Rotary has, positive public image, current members are motivated to be active and prospective members are eager to join. Work with Rotarians to, in your club to maximize public relations efforts. Something that we're going to be doing a quick exercise once I finish the presentation, but I think this is so important. We never know who you talk to that might want to be part of Rotary. And it just takes, know Rotary's key message. And this is something that, I always make for the clubs, what we need. We need, a public image chair if your club doesn't have it, public image stories. We have a couple of programs going in the district. One of them is check-in Tuesdays. Now that we have the pandemic, we're asking the clubs to check on their members, make sure they're doing well. It's just a simple campaign. It's say, hey, call your club members. Let's make sure that everybody's doing well. The other one is the Highlight Rotarian of the Week. I know Andy's club has the Hero Rotarian. We have the Rotarian of the Month. So we want to recognize it. We want to recognize, everything you've done. We heard stories of people that have been in Rotary 30 years, 20 years. Y'all have done an amazing job. I'm a brand new Rotarian, 4 years.
Arturo, we have some hands up.
Yeah, please do.
Let's see. Ken, go ahead.
Just a couple things, Arturo. I agree with you. I've said, I think we as Rotarians don't do enough, don't toot our horn enough. And we have a public relations chair and a committee, and it's, but I think it's really up to us as a whole organization to really promote it. And a couple things we've done as it relates to that. Matter of fact, we just got done wrapping up literally about, I think 12, 13 members of the board, if I'm right, Mark, just literally got done calling all members just to really check in, see how they're doing personally, professionally, how are they doing through the pandemic, and really just to get their input. What do they like about our meetings? We've now gone back to hybrid meetings where we're meeting in person and virtually, just started that. So we're just trying to keep engagement there. And then the other thing that Mark and I have done, I'll give Mark credit. You talk about engaging members. We just last fall started, he and I, about twice a month, Monday mornings at 8 o'clock, we reach out to Rotarians, typically newer members, and invite them for a coffee, just to get to know them more personally, professionally, answer any questions they have. They do get an orientation from Susan, who is our member orientation director and does a great job. But this is a way just to get to know them a little bit better. There's two of us, Mark and I, along with two newer Rotarians typically, but we're probably going to start doing that here again as the pandemic, the numbers here are going down. We're going to we took a little break, probably started late February, but it's just another way to get engaged and, really get to know these members. And, member attraction is important, but retaining members is really important as well.
Thank you, Ken, for sharing that. And the idea of the Check-in Tuesday came out from a meeting that I attended, that somebody on the Good News shared that they had received a phone call from the president of the club. They say, that made the whole difference. We don't know if they're, how they are. So congratulations on everything that you, Ken, and Mark are doing, because I think that's going to make a difference. And like you say, retention, recruiting is important, but retention is key. So thank you for sharing that. I don't know if there's any other comments.
Yeah, Wendy, you've got your hand up.
Wendy, go ahead. Can you hear?
Are you on mute? Or I can't hear you, sorry. Is it?
Not sure what's happening, Wendy.
Do you have earphones plugged in?
Oh, sorry. You can put it in the chat, please.
Please, Wendy, put it in the chat. I'm sorry. I don't know what happened. Right now that Deborah was talking, I had accidentally muted so I couldn't hear her. But now, if you can put it on the chat, we'd greatly appreciate that. Anybody else? Jeff? We're almost done with the presentation. And, this is some of the things that we offer to your clubs and to you, promote your programs. We can help you create events in Facebook if you're not familiar with it, share best practices. We ask everybody, if you haven't done so, visit our website, Facebook District 5520, like and share. That is a phrase of my friend Mario, who's here, and he's a powerhouse of all our events. So thank you, Mario. That's a phrase that he always says, like and share, like and share. So please like and share. And I'm going to put my information in the chat if anybody has any comments or questions. But one of the things that I wanted to do before we close, I don't know if there are any comments or questions before we go into a little bit of an exercise. Yes, Jesser?
If I may, I just want to congratulate you for what an incredible job you have done in this role. I've seen your posts and the posts that you share, and great work of moving the Rotary brand and bringing us together. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jesser. Thank you. Any comments or questions? The Facebook link is District 5520. I'll be glad to put it on the chat. One of the things that, when we were talking about club communication, that I wanted, and I was talking to Kathy about this. Sometimes we have challenge to talk about people about our clubs and what we're doing. Has anybody heard about an elevator pitch? Yeah, elevator pitch, anyone? Richard, I see your hair nodding. Andy, perfect. So today, we're gonna break out in groups of 3. Jeff is gonna help us do that. And we're gonna do an elevator pitch about our club. So we're gonna go ahead and practice with the other 2 people that are gonna be with you in the breakout. So everybody will have 2 minutes to do an elevator pitch about your club. You can talk about, your projects, but we want you to be engaged. So does anybody have any questions before we go into the breakouts?
And are we going to report out, or are we just going to?
Yes, definitely. No, we're gonna report out. So this is a practice, so we don't do it like cold. So you can practice, and then we'll come back and do it.
So I will close the rooms at 11:15.
Perfect. Any questions before we go into breakouts? So we're gonna break out in groups of 3. Y'all can talk about your club. If there are no questions, let's get rolling, Jeff. Thank you. Please unmute yourself. There we go.
Aha. Hello. I don't know what happened.
Oops.
They cut
Okay.
us off.
They cut us off. That's okay.
Not
fair.
Sorry, guys.
Math on that one.
Once they close, I would have to reopen them, which I can do. But we said I was gonna close the
Yeah, that's
I got when you guys opened my the room, my whole thing disappeared, so I had to reboot and re-sign back in. I don't know how to get back in the room.
Oh, it's okay.
Should we go back into the breakouts?
No.
I need to go back to my room.
That's okay. We're okay.
No, we get the
I think we're good. I think we're good. So Wendy, can you hear us now?
Hungry.
Can you speak now, Wendy? Or
I think.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
Do you want to share what you wanted to share before the breakouts?
Oh, well, I put it into the chat, but and it's kind of what we just did. But I was commenting that we all know and love Rotary, but sometimes when people ask the question, "What is Rotary?" we get a little bit stuck in how to answer. Although my group, Dan and Ken, just did a great job with theirs. They've got it nailed. But a lot of times the general population of our Rotary Club struggles with that. So there is a Rotaract Club up here that we're attending a college fair where they got to have a booth and tell people about Rotaract. So they sat down and practiced. How do we answer that question? What is Rotaract when someone asks us that? And they increased their membership by 150%.
That's awesome.
Because they knew what they were talking about.
Something that we have done in our club, and I'll share this, we have a one-pager of our club. So any new member, anybody can have it. You know, whenever we go ask for support, there's a one-pager of the objective, the programs, and, in El Paso, but I'll be glad to send it to you, Tanya. I'll put my email and we'll be glad to share that. And that's specifically for our club, but you can get the format and do it, you know, for your club. So that way you can provide it to any guest or anybody that comes in. It's very handy. So anybody would like to share their experience in the breakouts?
I recommend Deborah Simon. She had an amazing elevator pitch, one that I think should be branded, canned,
right. Yeah, I say the same for Sandy.
Perfect. So
great too.
Let's hear Deborah and then we'll go with Sandy.
Okay, here we go. Let's see. Well, basically, Rotary is a service organization that focuses on making a big impact in our own communities as well as around the world. We do projects such as, and then I could say, give examples. And it's also focused on vocational development and what did I say anyway that you liked? I can't remember. You should do it, Tanya. Anyway, it was, you know, basically an overview of Rotary and having an opportunity to work with like-minded people who want to make a difference in the world.
Thank you, Deborah. Who was the other one? Liz? Sandy, can you please share your, Sandy?
I came from the perspective of talking to people who know about Rotary, and I appreciate that Deborah started with what Rotary is. So I'm not sure my elevator speech really would work in a general population. I would say to all of you that I'm from Rotary Del Norte, Albuquerque, which is a vibrant, engaged club with members who are excited about what we do. We're from all walks of life, so the expertise is just abounds. And we have a lot of experience with international grants and with working with clubs all over the country and in other countries. I've worked with Deborah before. We've done some things together, but I would say we are very engaged in the community, and that is the hallmark of our club.
Hey, show of hands. Who wants to join Sandy's club?
Well, I'm in her club. You know, I am less than 4 weeks old. So, and I will share with you just some of the things. Now, Sandy, she's right on point. She is right on point with that. But what I'm gleaning is that it's a globally impactful organization, and it's bound by the bonds of empowered members with a commitment to servant leadership, both domestic and international. Its scope is that broad, which makes me feel extremely honored to be in such an organization. And I would love to say that it's maintained its focus in X amount of key areas, you know, with lifelong personal, professional development and that sort of thing. I'd like to grow to know how to just rattle those things off, to share how we galvanize our membership, how we attract, like you said, retain, recruit. I'd like to have all that in one fail swoop, you know?
Yeah.
And you know, Tanya, and I think Julie's also new at Rotary. We're excited to have you. And you know, your feedback is crucial for us, because we wanna help you as much as you can in this. And you know, for 4 weeks, I think you know more than I did, you know, for a year that I was there. So thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely.
I put my contact information in the chat. I put my cell phone number. It's a 202 area code. When I call, please don't think that I'm the IRS. I used to live in DC, that's why. And my email. I'm very grateful to all of you for your time. Kathy, I think I'm running out of time, but thank you. And I wish you all the best in RLI, and I will be seeing you on session 3, I think, if I get invited again. But.
Absolutely. Yes. So thank you, Arturo. Awesome. All right, folks, the great session. Let's take a 20-minute break.